In the first section of this unit, we're going to be talking about viruses and bacteria. Bacteria are single-celled living organisms. We'll talk about them in the second part of the unit. Viruses are particles. They are non-living particles that are made of proteins and some type of nucleic acid. This picture, which is pretty cool, is showing the green is viral particles. They're a bacteriophage virus that's infecting bacteria. Viruses are infectious particles, and there are no good viruses. They are extremely small, and they are made of nucleic acid, either DNA or RNA, and a protein coat that allows them to get into the host cell that they are infecting. Viruses are not living. They have some characteristics of living things. For one, they're very good at reproducing. They use the host cell enzymes to do that, but they can replicate themselves and pass on new viruses. But there are other characteristics of living things that they cannot do, like maintain homeostasis, and they do not grow. Viruses have two types of reproductive cycles. The first one we're going to talk about is called the lytic cycle. If you remember, lytic comes from the word lysis, which means to burst or to break. So in the lytic cycle, the virus infects the host cell. The virus attaches, injects its viral material, and then uses the host cell machinery to make new viral particles. So once there's enough viral particles made, the whole entire cell bursts. So a lytic virus kills the host cell immediately. Viruses like the viruses that cause colds, influenza, Ebola are all lytic viruses. The second type of viral life cycle is called the lysogenic cycle. And this is different because the viral DNA actually gets incorporated into the host cell genome, and then it stays there forever and replicates with every cell division. With the lysogenic cycle, the infection starts off the same. The virus injects its genetic material into the host cell, but in this case, it gets incorporated into the host cell genome. And like I said before, it's there for every cell replication. But then something triggers that virus to switch to the lytic cycle, and that's when it will destroy the cell. So in the example of the herpes cold sore virus, most of the time a person doesn't have a cold sore because that virus is just sitting in the host cell, in nerves actually, quietly most of the time, but then all of a sudden something triggers the actual onset of a cold sore, and that's when the virus is actually replicating, and that's why cold sores are so contagious. Remember, viruses can have DNA or RNA as their genetic material. Generally, RNA viruses have higher mutation rates, so these viruses are constantly changing. This picture shows the steps of an RNA viral infection. Retroviruses are a specific type of RNA virus. Retroviruses have RNA as their genetic material, and they also carry an enzyme called reverse transcriptase. Reverse transcriptase is a great name because it's going from RNA to DNA, which is the reverse of transcription, if you'll remember. These retroviruses they mutate frequently because reverse transcriptase is very sloppy. There's nothing to check and make sure that it's putting the right base into the right spot, so they mutate very rapidly. HIV is an example of a retrovirus. What happens is the HIV virus carries the RNA and the enzyme reverse transcriptase inside the viral particle. Then when it infects the host cell, which is an immune cell inside of a human, it converts the RNA into DNA. And as I mentioned, it's kind of sloppy. Then it uses the host cell machinery to make the double-stranded DNA, and then that gets incorporated into the host immune cells. It lays quiet for a very, very long time, but when a person has been exposed to HIV, they are considered HIV positive because they have the viral DNA in their cells. They don't have AIDS until that viral DNA starts to actually come about and destroy the cells and make new HIV viral particles and infect more cells. That is when a person officially has AIDS. Remember, viruses in general are very hard for us to fight off. They typically just have to take their course. Antibiotics work against bacteria, but we don't have very many medications that help fight viruses.